gamer Djinn Kendo. We're here in the den of the Djinn. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome. We're here going to be talking about something very important and it's kind of somber. I usually go on here to talk about random crap, random crazy crap, funny stuff. No, this one is actually kind of important and it's very. So, I was looking into my feed and I found a video about. Basically, I feel like this is a good awareness, and I feel like we should do this. You guys remember the concept of Amber Alerts, right? And the concept where it takes 24 hours to even activate one under certain parameters. But remember, guys, the parameters to activate a Amber Alert, guys. Mind you, I get the legality of it, but the problem is, under certain circumstances, by the time it is able to be kicked in, it might already be too late because under a certain circumstance, it should. Mind you, you can't mitigate every eventuality because obviously you would make rules that contradict each other and cancel each other out. The point is, so if you guys don't know how to trigger an Amber Alert, Amber Alerts happen when there is proven when a child is provenly been adopted. So you basically have to prove that the child has been adopted, but under 24 hours of time. And the problem about that is, a lot of times when it comes down to it, there's actually been a study about this. A lot of the situation was bad, that it doesn't take 24 hours to for some sicko to do his thing, kill a random kid, or do whatever he needs to do with the kid and basically dump them. It doesn't take that long. A lot of times it's 3 to 6 hours. And again, guys, and it takes 24 hours to basically trigger the search and rescue, which is not good because you know those movies, NCIS, where the person gets kidnapped and the person is keeping this person in captivity. Guys, that is rare in itself. Hey, how's it going? Thank you very much for checking out my videos. Please and thank you. Like and subscribe. It definitely helps the channel. Thank you very much. But anyway, like I was saying, you guys don't understand how crazy that is. So, mind you, I didn't know this, but apparently Amber Alerts started in Texas. I didn't know this. It was an interesting concept, but they even adapted a clause. I think it was a clause or an amendment to the law of 24 hours, where under certain circumstances, I don't remember what the circumstances was, if there's actual reason that the kid is being it has been missing for a little bit. I think it's closer to 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours. If the kid has been missing for a little over that, then honestly, between you and me, folks, it's hard not to notice your child not being around for more than a few hours, especially when it's a small child. So personally, if you have not noticed for more than a few hours, you do not need to be parents. Because, just no. And mind you, if you're gonna let your kid hang out in your front yard or whatever, ladies and gentlemen, that's kind of the reason why there's parks, guys. Why you take your kid to the park for a few hours. That way your kid gets their energy out. That they have a time of their lives, have some fun, and then they get home and they nap and whatever. Mind you, not every parent has that ability. Again, guys, it really depends on the circumstances in the family. A lot of times, when it comes down to me and my family when we went to the park, It was rare because my dad was kind of an ass, and he just wanted me to basically just shut up and do whatever. So he puts me behind a screen, watch TV, or he puts me behind a game. Guys, don't get me wrong, I loved being a gamer. And mind you, that was partly because my dad was an asshole and never wanted to take me anywhere. I'm going to be honest, guys, I didn't know this, but it did seem like they always had to fight to get me to go somewhere, right? And I always had to beg him to take me to places. We always had to, schedule certain times to do something fun outside of the house, Mind you, I know I'm talking about different things, but it's technically correlated. So do me a favor, like and subscribe if you haven't already. But so I was talking about Texas, and Texas, like I said, they had a little thing about their Amber Alerts, and mind you, apparently they have this clause that is basically called the Athena Clause. The Athena Clause is you go in and you suspect that your child has been missing for that time. Mind you, again, I'm pretty sure that is a little suspect, because personally, I think that if your child has been missing more than a few hours, that's kind of bad on your part, because you haven't been taking care of your kid, or I don't know. I'm just hoping that I'm not being judgmental on this one, but that unfortunately that's how it is. That's how I feel. Like, if your kid has been missing and you haven't noticed for a few hours, that sucks. That really does suck, because I feel for the kid, and they're probably scared or whatever. It sucks because we don't need parents that can't take care of their children. We really don't. We got plenty of that, and frankly, we have too much of that. One is more than plenty in the world, and we got hundreds and hundreds out there that are just horrible people that don't know how to take care of their children, or refuse to take care of their children, never love them, things like that. And honestly, children do not deserve that. They come into this world without any ability to know the difference between right and wrong, and the ones that are supposed to teach them are complete and utter garbage. So yeah, and mind you, Texas, as far as I understand it, Texas is, as what I understand, is the only state that I know of that has this amendment. I'm pretty sure. I hope to the gods that that's not true anymore, because again, this incident that sparked this debate happened it was 2022, so it was 4 years ago. I honestly hope that happened, and that kind of woke everybody up, going, hey, oh shit, 24 hours, yeah, that kid is not gonna make it. And I hate saying that. Made me kind of puke a little bit when I said that. So my recommendation, guys, is tell your lawmakers, tell your administrators out there that we need to get those laws revamped for taking care of our children. We gotta make laws that are centered around our kids, because we haven't gotten to the point where I feel comfortable raising a child in this economy, and this environment, and this country, because a lot of times the law doesn't prioritize the child's health or welfare. You say you do, but you kind of don't, because I've heard horrifying stories where the child got in trouble for putting his EpiPen in, right? And the child got suspended for having drugs on campus. Ladies and gentlemen, I understand that it was the administration's fault, but the problem is the system itself is the problem. When let me ask you this: if you're an officer, right, and you got called to a school and saying, hey, this guy had drugs, the first thing I'm pretty sure the cops is thinking, huh? Drugs? What? Ooh, epinephrine, all that. What was it? The EpiPen. Wait, the kid hasn't had an EpiPen. And what was it filled with? Well, he's diabetic. Wait. You confiscated a diabetic's EpiPen, and where is the kid? In the hospital because we took it away from him. Literally, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This conversation has happened. I am not bullshitting. I've actually seen stories online about, and I'm not talking about YouTube because those are from Reddit, and Reddit tends to exaggerate. But I've heard stories, like actual news stories about administrators getting jailed and all that. But the problem is it's not. By the time that happens, guys, that is way too fucking late. We need to make administrating throughout the country, guys, throughout the country. We need to make sure that we have laws protecting our children. Within reason, of course, guys. Come on, don't go overboard. If the kid needs accommodations, like, needs help, like sometimes the kids can't see up too far, so set them up front. If the kid has diabetes, let him have a few snacks. Let him have a few snacks. And a lot of people are be like, well, that's not fair to everybody else. Well, that everybody else is not the issue. The issue is you saying it's not fair when it's not fair that he has to fucking maintain his shit unless he wants to fucking die. That kid needs his snacks because he's diabetic or whatever, or she. Point is, guys, these kids need to be protected, not catered to. The parents are half the problem. Half the problem. They say, "Well, I don't like drugs in my school." Well, guys, the only drugs that need to be in school are prescription drugs, and those are the only ones that I feel comfortable even remotely allowing nearby. Mind you, you need to teach the kid how to handle medication. That way he doesn't grow up to be a fucking druggie. A lot of kids are like, well, he's a druggie. No, he's taking this medication because his condition, which by the way isn't your damn fault or, business. And what's even fucked up is I during the pandemic, I heard more and more of these people coming out of the woodwork, kind of like cockroaches, where they had the idea of certain neurological diseases. Mind you, it's not even a disease, it's just a condition, like autism and all that. It's like the herpes pandemic. Like what happened in the early 80s and 90s, where people had herpes, mind you, herpes or sexually transmitted diseases and stuff like that. And a lot of people don't understand that you don't get that kind of shit by, like as far as herpes go, yeah, it's contagious, but only under certain circumstances. Like you have to actually swap, bodily fluids. You have to like constantly make out with them or whatever, or something like that. The problem was a lot of people got hurt because of that, because there was a lot of misinformation. Mind you, again, I'm not sure how it actually is transmitted. I'm pretty sure herpes is translated, but probably through different means, not through the mouth. I'm probably sure the point is, guys, there are rules that need to be placed, and they are not, because administrators are like, well, we don't want to get sued. Well, you would get sued more if those laws wouldn't be in place, because Sammy's daddy hates the idea of being told that, how would you feel if your little Billy or little Sally goes to school, right, and they have a condition like, for instance, they have to put in a little insulin every now and again, like every couple hours or every day, hopefully every day, because that's horrible if you have to do it every few hours. Every day they have to put in some insulin at a certain time so they can keep themselves healthy. And then there's teachers that either do not read or refuse to read because they're catering to the children. Guys, that is not catering to nothing. That is making sure that kid is safe. If the kid has to have an injection like that, that just means their body isn't working the way it should. And that is not their fault. You, as a teacher, putting them in a situation where it's going to keep them from getting that medication, keeping them healthy. Ladies and gentlemen, by doing that, you're shortening their lives. You are causing the issue. And I've heard so many stories where it took longer than it should have for the teacher, either the teacher or the principal or both. I've heard rarer stories about that, but I've heard one where it was a teacher confiscating this medication. I don't remember if it was an EpiPen or some pill or something, and the teacher is basically on their high horse and has the principal backing her up, and then later they get sued, guys. They get sued, lose their jobs, and I'm glad they did, because people in administration just doesn't fucking get it. It's like, well, we didn't want to promote drug use. If it's saving someone's life, I mean, honestly, it's no different than when it comes to that kind of thing. It wouldn't be much different than calling the fucking ambulance. And speaking of, guys, that same story that I was telling you about, they had to call the fucking ambulance and the cops found that the teacher was in the wrong, because the teacher basically boasted that she took the medication because she had a stern rule about no medication in her class or whatever, right? And the cop said, well, hand it over, I need to have it, because apparently the kid needs it to survive. The teacher apparently tried to defy the cops, thinking that she had more rights than the kid to live. So the cop cuffed the teacher, guys. Rightfully so. For A, endangering the life of a minor. B, arguing with the cop. I'm pretty sure that wasn't it, but she was definitely belligerent. And the cop basically told her, shut the fuck up, or you're gonna get arrested because you're interfering. I think it was interfering with an investigation or something like that, like something similar. And the principal apparently tried to intervene as well. And the cop basically says, if you want to get arrested too, be my guest. Apparently, the principal had the spine of a fucking jellyfish and backed down. Tried to, and then later they got both sued because the principal had years of endorsing this kind of attitude, and they both got fired. Finding out that this wasn't the first time this happened. Guys, the fact that it wasn't the first time that happened, this is one of the reasons why I feel like these laws need to happen. We need to put laws that prioritize our kids' health, safety, and ability to learn in a safe environment. And one other law that I feel like we need to put in is no parents can interfere with their child's education in any way unless A, it has something to do with their accommodations, their health. No, I mean, of course, like I was saying, it has to the laws have to revolve around these kids, guys. That's the first thing we should do. Look into our laws that revolve around protecting our children from not only from ourselves, but teachers, schools, and public in general. We need to create laws like that because we don't have anywhere near enough, and if we do, nobody uses them. People just gloss over them thinking that they're not important. Guess what, guys? They're important because they're children. The children need protection. If anything, from the people that we are. Our own society has gotten to the point where we are poisoning our own children, guys, because some people think that they know better, and they're putting their kids in danger. They're putting kids in danger, folks. Is that okay? No. And not just kids, just people in general. Just need to put laws out there that just have a better track record. If you see that certain laws or regulations or stipulations don't work, throw it away. Make a new one. Do you want to know why nobody does that anymore? Nobody does the trial and error routine? Because it is a lot of work, and people don't want to do work. They just like the idea of knowing it's there. Guys, the whole point of laws is to make sure that we don't fuck ourselves up. But we make laws that fuck ourselves up. That's why I'm frustrated. People out there just don't get it. Sorry, guys. I had to put that out. Thank you for checking out my videos. Like, subscribe, and I hope you guys see you guys in the next. And this is your friendly neighborhood gamer, Djinn Candor, seeing you in the next one. Take care.